So many similarities, and, from the start of the year, it really started off like that, and like I said again before, this is familiar territory, for me and for jawgemo, so I think it's good that we all kind of everyone's realizing, "Okay, we can shoot back. We're pretty decent."
Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview covering VCT America Stage 1. I'm accompanied this time by Potter, the head coach of Geniuses, after taking down NRG in another upset fashion 2 weeks in a row. But yeah, Potter, thank you so much for taking the time doing this once again, like I said before I started recording. And yeah, I mean, like I said before, upset win, if you can see it that way, as the coach, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling relieved. I'm feeling relieved, I'm feeling proud, and excited for sure, and tired, so tired. Man, that series was just in a roller coaster of emotions. I really I really think we should have 2-0'd 100%, and that was terrifying going into the 3rd, knowing that we should have closed it out in that 2nd, but man, these last 2 weeks for my team, the experience that we gained together, on that stage was just it's just something else.
It really was something else, and just seeing the improvement, the sudden improvement for this team, especially as you said, past 2 weeks taking down Sentinels and now taking down NRG. But before we go into the series, I want to just go a little bit forward and just pick your brains on that timeout that you called at the very end of map 3 after round 23. I believe you guys were in the position. Yes, you guys were in the position to just close it off or close down the series. I mean, looking at how the team then executed their play after that timeout, it just kind of put a cap to how that series turned out. And just I want to know, what did you say to the team on that timeout? What were you telling them to do? You just kind of doing that strat wise.
That's a tough question. I mean, because each timeout is a little bit different, but specifically because they timed out, they had already, used I think I forget what round that they timed out on,
It was shortly before you guys did that.
yeah, and so that the timing of the timeout in that 2nd half was kind of interesting because they timed out right when I was contemplating whether I needed to time out or not, and that actually ended up helping me because I used their timeout to make adjustments, and unfortunately, in that timeout, my entire team threw the rounds that I told them to do. They didn't throw, but they threw. They threw the rounds, and then, I think the score was, like, 9-9, maybe it was 10-9, 9-10, and I wanted to time out right then, because I knew that we could just end it right there in 13-9, but I couldn't take that chance just in case, because the game plan that that the team was calling was sound, but, um so I couldn't risk it then. I couldn't risk it then. I'm glad I didn't time out right then because what I did tell the team at 11-11 ended up being just checkmate. So it worked out really well. It worked out really well. But again, we learned so much in these last 2 weeks in these series. That timeout, you only have a minute to talk. And I'm not the most concise person. I over explain a lot of different things, and so it takes a lot of reps, especially for my players also to understand exactly what I'm saying, and everyone feels really confident about everything. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad it worked out. I'm really glad it worked out.
Very incredible to hear that. And yeah, like now going over to the series, I mean, Ascent, the team dominated, on NRG's map pick, and just having to see that play out, starting off 10-2 and just closing it out on attacking side. And then on Lotus, as you said, a very close affair, which you could have gone either way, but fortunately it went NRG's way. Just sort of covering like how map one played out from your point of view, and also how close of an encounter was that map to, how do you kind of navigate those first two maps of the series?
I mean, we definitely we we keep running into this issue where we're up numbers 5v3, especially on pistol rounds. On Lotus, we had all the advantages from defense pistol even to the attack pistol, we were fully in control and we threw away those rounds. So I think Lotus, if we could go back in time again and replay that, we 100% convert those pistols. And I think the map just looks different. Obviously, everyone understands how snowbally things can get when you win the pistol. But with our team, we're very structured in that manner. Our game plan from the start, those first 6 rounds are very much everyone is on the same page about what their job is and what they need to do to convert. So it's just man, pistols are just so RNG. So it I don't know. I'm coping. I'm coping. We definitely had the advantages. There were 5v3s. And then towards the gun rounds, we haven't faced off versus a double initiator comp on Lotus in a long time. Actually, it's probably been since maybe December, January. Everyone's running, the Fnatic comp, our comp, the
Mhm.
Viper Fade. And so that was actually a huge curveball. I had to change our pistols in the freeze time as soon as we saw the comp come through. So um yeah, I think if we just get a little bit more reps, we were definitely expecting a different comp. I was actually expecting the Astra. I thought
Mhm.
Demon 1 was gonna be on the Astra actually, because that's what we did last year to get him comfortable on that map. But they made Brimstone work. They made him work.
Yeah, I was just about to say, map 2 and then NRG's comp, it's basically the same comp that Navi used, and I was going to ask you like if you expected that, but you kind of answered that for me. And yeah, like now going into map 3, going from such a multi overtime affair and just have it not go your way, and then transition that into sunset. I mean, what was your communication like to the team? Just to try to get them in the right mindset, in the right physical state before that third map.
Just talking about the team, it was I think we all believed, from when we started practice a week ago, preparing for this series, that we were the better team. They have better individuals, they have bigger names, and they have insane aim. There's no denying that, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. But for the players and for my squad, we were fully bought into that we were the better team, and so we were gonna win this series with teamwork, with the leaning on each other and using each other. So, I'm glad that we're all seeing the vision.
Yeah, it's a result of a vision that has taken this team to a revamped state. Winning their last two a series at the end of your respective regular season. And looking at this, it's I mean I have to say, as a reporter, someone has been covering the game for a good while, it's somewhat reminiscent to last year's team. Early in the season, starting off not as good, and then with a few match wins, you guys started going on a momentum, and then you know the history from that point on. That said, have you been seeing any similarities, from that kind of environment, that kind of atmosphere, at that point in the season last year to right now?
Oh, 100%. I just need a journalist to call for my job and and post it online, and then all of a sudden the script, it's on. It is on. No, I mean, so many similarities, and, it from the start of the year, it really started off like that, and like I said again before, this is familiar territory, for me and for jawgemo, so it's, it's great. I think coming into Split 2 though and the playoffs, it's gonna be interesting. Once that pressure kinda shifts and expectations and the bar gets raised, we'll see how we handle that, but yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good that we all kind of everyone's realizing, "Okay, we can shoot back. We're pretty decent."
Yeah, and now going into like just well, before I go into a team, I just want to ask you about Jogimo because of course I asked him and about his form, and of course he's been struggling earlier on in the year, but now he's been hitting his stride, in in these past 2 weeks, and just getting back to his former self, compared to last year. What exactly did you tweak, if any, when it comes to
Hello?
looking at him and just
Oh,
hello, can you hear me?
uh, yeah, I think either you lagged out or I lagged.
I think it was you because I didn't see
Okay.
any. If you want to, I'm gonna repeat myself. Just sort
Yeah,
of
sorry. Didn't hear
looking at
that.
Jawgemo and just looking at his recent form, his recent improvement in the past two matches for this team, a massive improvement from how it was earlier on in the season. Did you do anything to kind of help him just regain his form? In particular.
It's been a work in progress since the beginning. And with Jaw, because of how the beginning of last year went, I had a pretty good idea of what I needed to do to set him up to be successful. And it's unfortunate that we had such a slow start at the beginning of the season because I think, his confidence definitely was shaky. But again, what I explained to everyone else was that it was kind of it was a given that this was what was, to be expected. Jaw, he had 4 of his teammates ripped away from him, his IGO ripped away from him. Everything was started brand new, and, in the beginning of last year, him and Ethan had huge issues as well. Just getting that synergy between your initiators and your duelists and finding that sort of timing where those microseconds, it's just natural and you don't have to plan every little thing. That's that sweet spot. And it takes so many reps and it just takes time to build that. And for right now, for us, we found that sweet spot. But yeah, I think the whole first 3 months has been just that, has been trying to constantly run into the same problems so that Jaw can see the vision and trust that his teammates, Yuta, will be where it's supposed to be at the right time, and then having that domino effect constantly happen and play out in front of our eyes so that we can, put 2 and 2 together and it all equal 4 for everyone instead of, 1 player 3, 1 player 5. I mean, who knows? But yeah, that's been the goal, and as far as specific things to help Jaw, just reinforcing his confidence. Jaw is already such a talented player, that again, he just needed time.
Mhm. I'm gonna ask one more question before I wrap it up because it appears we've gone over over the time limit. But still, now that I have you here, you mentioned about just refocusing and just rebuilding and just having to take this sudden improvement, well, not sudden but gradual improvement. I think that's the right word to say. Looking at this team, what do you think was the one thing that kind of stood out the most when it comes to just having to build this team from its lowly form at the start of the year to now.
Oh, I think just the individual growth. I've spent a lot of time, working individually with Nature, with Apoth, with Superman, with Derek, and with Jaw. And just having individuals show up and look like just new and improved confidence levels, uh, in comparison to even kickoff, I think, that's really cool. So I think just the growth and watching these guys, um, just get better and better every day, I think that's really cool.
All right. Really appreciate you taking the time. It's like I said, this story is reminiscent to EG's 2023. All we now need is just an assistant coach to just make a magical knife play, in a winner take all playoff significance match. So if that happens, we'll see what comes next for EG. But still, looking at the present, really appreciate you taking the time, Potter, doing this interview, and best of luck for you guys in the future.
Thank you.